Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy Tom Dota here with a very short analysis of 7.34c. We're going to be getting into every little thing that has impacted in this patch and really break down what the item changes, neutral item changes, and hero changes mean for Dota. So let's get into it. Alright, before we get into the main part of the video, I do want to let you guys know that I'm not only posting videos here on YouTube, I also frequently post videos on the website. If you don't know what I'm talking about, almost every single day I'm posting a new video to the Game League website. We're going to teach you guys in depth about how to get to the next level. So if you want to become absolutely broken and really take your game to the next level, I'm going to be able to help you, because sometimes the guides on YouTube, there's either not enough of them, they're not specific, or they're just tier lists, which I know you guys love, but at the end of the day, the Game League website is going to help you get to the next level. So click the link down below and sign up. Alright, starting off with Solar Crest, we have a slight movement speed change, which didn't impact the item much, and I still think it's very good. Arcane Ring got slightly nerfed, but one of the bigger changes of neutral items was a Cult Bracelet. Now the stacks, right, the mana regen that gives you 0.5 used to be for 10 seconds, meaning it would give you 5 total mana per time you got hit. Now it only gives you 2.5. It's obviously way worse, and you have to make sure you keep the stacks going or the item isn't nearly as efficient. The next item is Spark of Courage, which now only gives 16 damage instead of 18, which I don't think is that bad. It's still definitely a good item. And then Vambrace, the other attribute bonus, was decreased from 4 to 2. I personally already didn't think this item was that good. I'm sort of a hater of the item now. I just think that Pupil's Gift in a lot of games is better. Specialist Array, even on melee heroes, just honestly, in my opinion, feels better. And so I would personally stay away from Vambrace unless I want, honestly, Spell Amp. I think Spell Amp is the hardest thing to come by out of all of these, and Spell Amp stacks additively. So on heroes like Zeus and Timber, it's good. Other than that, I'm not a huge fan of the item. Abaddon got some cast range changes, and most notably, I would say his Curse of the Avernus gives 20 more attack speed at max. However, I don't think this is good enough to make him much of a hero. Alright, next up we have Arcridden, who got some of the biggest buffs of the patch. Tempest Double now does 15 more damage at max, which is actually not bad and is substantial considering you spam them, but the bigger one is Tempest Double now always spawns with full health and mana. This is pretty huge because let's say in the laning stage you're battling it out, right? You hit level 6 but you're only a third health, or you're half health. Spawning the Tempest Double, well, maybe it's just gonna die and feed away to gold and XP bounty. That's gonna feel pretty damn bad. Or if you're split pushing in the mid to late game, or just summoning it in a team fight after you got jumped. Maybe you got your BKB off and you get Tempest Double off. This will allow you to, really change the tide of the game in certain circumstances, and I think it's a pretty substantial buff. Nothing that's gonna make the hero meta, but definitely good. Axe got some major buffs, I would say. Berserker's Call Radius increased by 15. Radius is important, guys. It really is noticeable, and I think this one will feel pretty good. And then Culling Blade got 25 extra damage, which is certainly not bad, and once again, is gonna matter sometimes. Bane got 2 base damage, which is kind of scary. I think this hero is not that bad as is, and now Enfeeble is only 120 mana flat, especially at max level. When this ability goes down to a 7-second cooldown, you can actually spam it. And I think Enfeeble is one of the most broken abilities in the game. It does 270 pure damage at a ridiculous cast range. It reduces cast range reduction and makes you hit for 0 damage. This ability is damn nuts, and I think the build on Bane is max Q and max Nightmare, and the hero will be very good. Beastmaster, the Call of the Wild Hawk, costs more mana and is less HP. Also, Drums of Slum, the Aghanim Scepter, no longer considers illusion damage amplification when calculating the heal. So this hero used to counter PL and Naga and Terrorblade to some extent. Now, it's still decent against them, to be honest, because it's magic damage against high armor heroes, but it's not nearly as broken. Shuriken Toss does 30 more damage at max, which is pretty huge, especially if you're going the Aghanim Scepter or Octarine Core build. That build is certainly a lot better on Bounty Hunter now. Brewmaster lost 2 seconds on Cinderbrew at all levels, which is pretty bad for his max level, but still the hero is definitely good. Bristleback, a hero I'm a huge fan of, got huge buffs. 3 base damage, which is really great for the laning stage. The hero has bad base damage, that helps him a lot. And the base armor loss was increased from 2 to 3 at levels 3 and 4, which is really huge, right? It's just gonna help you do that extra bit of damage. Next up, Brood Spawn Spiderlings, base attack time was reduced, which is pretty good. I don't know how much it will impact the hero, but if you buy drums and AC, it certainly will make them hit a lot harder. On top of the fact that they'll just hit harder as is. Centaur Warrunner got 10 movement speed, which is a huge deal. 10 movement speed on a hero like Centaur that relies on chasing people down and kiting in and out is massive. They also buff Stampede cooldown and your Workhorse cooldown, so this hero is definitely much better. Is it good? I don't think so, but it is better. certainly. Klink's strafe bonus attack speed on the archers is now much better, 15% better at max, and the burning barrage is also 10% better. So, I don't know, trying to make Klink's viable. I feel like the nerfs in the previous patches hit him a little bit too hard though. Crystal Maiden got 1 armor and 2 intelligence, making her a better laner, and it certainly matters. I don't think the hero's bad, and I think CM's shard is pretty good. Darkseer, the vacuum, lost damage at level 1, but it's pretty similar at all the other levels, and Surge is worse at level 1, but the same at max. So basically, Darkseer is worse in the laning stage, but about the same as the game progresses, meaning I don't think the hero is that much different and is still very powerful. Dawnbreaker lost 10 movement speed and 2 strength, making her early game much worse. I think the hero is okay, but honestly, 2 strength really hurts strength heroes. Like, it's just 44 health and 2 damage and 10 movement speed. I don't know, man. The hero was good, but I feel like this is a bit harsh. That's how I see it, at least. Dazzle gained some int gain, and the bad juju health cost was decreased from 75, 100, 125 to 75, meaning that the hero is actually much more survivable when you click your ultimate. This is a huge buff to Dazzle if you play the hero. I can't explain it now, maybe I'll make a separate video, but it's definitely pretty notable. Doom, Devour cooldown was reduced by 5. I still think the hero's pretty good. Earthspear lost some base int, it's level 10, and 15 talents got nerfed, but I still think the hero is pretty decent. Enchant Totem mana cost was increased by 10, which actually hurts the hero. It has massive mana problems, as is, so now it's even worse. They also nerfed the base damage talent at 10. They changed the Enchant Totem damage at 15 to Fissure range, which is quite crap, and so honestly, this hero as a core is much worse. I don't want to say it's unplayable, but it's like way worse for sure. It's still a decent support though, I think. Ember Spirit lost HP regen, and Sleight of Fist costs more mana, which I don't think the hero deserved a nerf, but okay. Gyrocopter agility gaining decreased from 3.3 to 3.1. Stun duration on the missile was decreased at all levels by a decent amount, but most importantly, Flat Cannon is worse at level 1 by 8-second cooldown and 2 seconds at max, and they nerfed all the talents. Basically, at level 15, you would get Flat Cannon attacks, now you get Flat Cannon damage, which frankly isn't that bad. It's damage in the early game, that's really not terrible, and if anything, maybe it's better, because like, you couldn't even necessarily hit 10 times a lot of the time. So I don't really think that this is that much of a nerf. I frankly think that the hero is still good and can definitely be played. Still think that the Eggs build is kind of insane, and well, I don't think these talent changes hurt the hero that much. Hoodwink, the stun is better at level 1, and the mana cost and ulti is better. I don't think it's too substantial. Invoker lost base HP regen. The movement speed per instance was decreased, so basically staying on Wex isn't as good. Tornado does less damage, and the EMP shard was nerfed. Still think the hero is pretty good, but I do believe that nerfing the EMP was a smart idea. I even made a video on this hero, which will probably still come out, talking about support invoker and the brokenness of the shard. Jakiro's mana cost on his Q got reduced by 15, and the damage on his E got buffed at level 1, making it 33% better. I think this hero as is was very good, and if you're looking for a support to play, Jakiro is the hero. Legion Commander, the talents were both nerfed. I didn't think the hero was that great anymore, but okay. They nerfed the Lion's Hex at early levels, but it's the same as max. Lone Druid got 2 armor, and they buffed Spirit Link in the early levels. So this hero is just a better laner, which it already was a very good laner. Now this hero is just an insane laner. Magnus got 50 attack range, which is honestly a lot, and Reverse Polarity got 20 radius on the pole, which is a ton. I don't think the hero is good, but I mean, these are huge buffs. Meepo got some slight changes that don't matter too much, at least not to my eye. I could be wrong about that. Muerta, her Deadshot does 25 more damage at level 1, which is actually a lot, but most notably, her ultimate at level 1 does 20 more damage, which means the hero's ability to fight in the early game is much better. I don't think it will make the hero good, but it is quite significant buffs. Naga got changed, but not in a significant way. Furion, one of the most broken heroes in the game, lost 6 agility, which is a ton. That is, well, a full point of armor and 6 attack speed. That hurts the hero a lot in his ability to trade early on. They also made it where you can see Sprout, and now, if you eat a Tango on Sprout, you get 1 times healing when consumed with a Tango, so you don't have to buy Quelling Blade to get out of Sprout, you can just eat a Tango and feel pretty damn good about it, which is a huge nerf to the hero. I still think it's a decent support, to be perfectly honest, but it is way worse. Necrophos base armor was increased by 1. I think this hero is pretty good. Nyx Assassin, the intelligence multiplier at level 1 went from 2 to 3.5. Maybe this ability is just insane at level 1. I don't really know, but it seems pretty damn good. They also buffed Spike Carapace in the early levels. Vendetta also gives you attack range, and the attack animation speed was increased by 20%. So I honestly think Nyx is a pretty damn good position for. Ogre Magi got 0.75 HP regen, which is actually a lot. They buffed the mana cost on Bloodlust in the early levels, but nerfed it at max, and they buffed the charge slightly. I still think the hero is kind of meh, but it is a better laner now. Repel got mana cost buffs, so you can use the ability much more. It's also a much lower cooldown at level 1, and 6 seconds left at max. Huge buffs to Repel. They also made the mana cost on Hammer of Purity more spammable in the early levels, so it's good for laning. Very strong laning spell. I don't think Omni Knight's actually that bad of an offlaner. I think it's pretty good. Pangolier, roll up, cooldown increase from 30 to 40, nerfing the hero. Again. Phoenix, the attack speed on Fire Spirits is worse, really only at level 1, so I still think the hero's pretty good. Onslaught on Primal Beast got nerfed. I don't really understand why they nerfed Primal Beast. I don't think the hero was that good, but okay. Base Intelligence on Pugna, the hero got 2 damage and 2 int, which is pretty damn good, right? Well, 2 int, which gives him 2 damage. They also amped the heal amplification by 5% of the levels, which is not bad, and the mana cost on Mana Dream by 25. I think the hero is actually not a terrible support, to be perfectly honest. Just don't pick it around giving mana. It still gives like a ton of health. I really think the hero is better than people believe. Ricky, Tricks of the Trade, does now more damage at level 1. However, its ultimate is just straight up worse. It's worse at max, so the hero is just worse as the game progresses. Rubik's Fade Bolt. I didn't think Rubik is good at all, to be perfectly honest. I think the hero's like mid as hell. But yeah, instead of reducing 14% damage, it reduces 5%. Which is really bad. I don't think the hero is too good. In fact, I think it's bad. Sand King base armor is increased by 1, and the stun cast range was increased by 100 at max. That is crazy. I don't know if the hero is good. I personally am not a huge fan of it, but these are huge buffs. Hex cast range on Shadow Shaman increased by 50, which is actually a ton. And most notably, the ultimate, instead of being 130 second cooldown at level 1 and 120 at 2, it's now 110 at all levels, which is what it was at max. That is really, really good. Like, really, really good. This hero, I honestly believe, is very strong and people will experiment with it. Skywrath Mage lost 10 attack speed, hurts his landing stage, Sniper's bonus attack range, and when he activates his passive is better, and Assassinate does 50 more damage at all levels, making, well, Sniper a decent hero. Charge of Darkness on Spearbreaker is just better now at all levels, and his ultimate is now better, and his 15 talent is better. I don't think this hero is too bad. And these changes are pretty good. Sven's stun is worse at level 1, but the same as max. The slow resistance is now 30 flat instead of scaling up to 40, and the cooldown is worse by 5 seconds at all levels, but I still think Sven is very good. Terribly lost some damage, and his 15 talent was nerfed, but he's still good. Treant Protector got hard nerfed. They made the mana cost on his Q worse. They made Leech Seed 6 seconds longer at level 1, which is brutal. And they made the cooldown on Overgrowth 20 seconds longer at level 1 and 10 at level 2. I don't know why they... I mean, the hero was the highest win rate in the game, but damn! It was only 54, it wasn't like 59. I mean, I don't know. This is a bit too much to me. Alright, they nerfed Tombstone Vision Range. Okay, I didn't think the hero was too good anymore, but alright. Vengeful Spirit, now her shard is a little bit worse. The mana cost of Wave of Terror is 40 flat instead of 25 at level 1. And the base damage on Vengeance Aura is 3% worse at max. I still think this hero is just good. Warlock is now worse in terms of strength gain. Fatal Bond's duration is 6 seconds shorter at level 1, so I think what you have to do is just kill the wave as fast as you can when you get Fatal Bonds on the person. Just auto-attack the hell out of the wave, or pick it with, like, Gyro. It's still really good. Weaver is now better at max. The Swarm does 6 more damage. Wind Ranger got some base agility, which is really good, and base intelligence. This hero is just much, much better early on, and the Shard got buffed. Winter Wyvern got some base armor, increased by 1, and a little bit of mana regen. But most notably, and this one is insane, Arctic Burn cooldown at level 1 from 38 to 26. That is 12 seconds shorter. That is insanely good for this hero's laning stage. Not only does it get some mana regen in the lane, it gets armor in the lane, and now Arctic Burn is just way better. That is crazy. This hero is definitely, honestly, on my radar. Witch Doctor, the cast point of Cask is now shorter, which means you can cast the ability faster. However, Death Ward does 10 less damage at level 2 and 20 less at max. I still think the hero is pretty good. It scales worse, but it's still pretty good. I honestly think Zeus is a good hero. I just made a video on the hero. I think it's quite strong. They buffed the mini stun on Lightning Bolt by 0.1, which is not terrible. And they buffed Thunder God's Wrath. It's just 120 flat instead of 130, 125, 120. I mean, this is a pretty big deal. It makes the hero, honestly, much better. In the early game, this is when you get the most value out of the spell for stealing and assisting with kills. And the ability also costs less mana at level 1, which was a problem for the hero. So yeah, I think Zeus is honestly on my radar of one of the better mids of the patch. But alright, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And tomorrow I'll be putting out heroes and builds to try because I'm going to be experimenting and I have some ideas of what's good right now. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace. And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.